Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Beery, and on behalf of the entire organizing team, I'm going to be talking about iWildCam2021. The iWildCam competition has happened every year for the past 4 years. It focuses on camera trap data, heat or motion-activated cameras that are placed in the wild and used by ecologists to study animal populations and behavior. These camera traps are widely used in ecological research, with thousands of organizations, tens of thousands of projects, millions of camera traps, and hundreds of millions of images estimated to be collected. This data volume means that analyzing the data does not scale, and so it's an obvious application for computer vision. The iWildCam 2020 competition last year introduced multimodality to the challenge to try to help improve categorization accuracy on held-out camera locations by providing paired satellite imagery as well as community science data from iNaturalist. iWildCam 2021 goes beyond this and introduces counting to the problem. So now, instead of just categorizing the species seen in each image, competitors are asked to actually count how many individuals of each type of species are seen across sequences or bursts of data taken from a single motion trigger. This is an incredibly challenging task, as can be seen in some of these cases where you see high amounts of occlusion from both background as well as other animals. And because the frame rates in the bursts are low, traditional video methods like tracking tend to not apply themselves off the shelf. So there's a lot of really interesting computer vision work to be done here. The iWildCam 2021 dataset is made up of 260,000 camera trap images provided by the Wildlife Conservation Society. These come from 414 camera locations across the globe. We also provide bounding boxes from our Microsoft AI for Earth megadetector model, as well as segmentation labels from DeepMac, new this year, and GPS coordinates of most of the cameras. There were some cameras that we were not able to provide GPS coordinates for due to privacy reasons. Evaluation was incredibly challenging to think about. How do you measure in one number both the categorization performance as well as the counting performance of the model? And how do you handle the fact that the vast majority of camera trap data is frequently empty? We ended up going with mean column-wise root mean squared error. So basically, you look at performance across each class, and competitors are asked to predict for every species their predicted count. Some of the issues with MCRMSE are that the large amount of empty sequences, which we left in because we wanted to account for false positives, end up contributing quite a bit to the metric, making changes kind of hard to interpret. And classification errors are penalized twice. You're penalized both for the error that you collect when you're predicting the wrong species, even if it's the right count, and you're penalized for not predicting the right count for the right species. Now, to go on to the winners. We're incredibly excited to announce that first place is being awarded to Fagner Cunha from the Federal University of Amazonas. Second place goes to Rick Kran, Hugo Koopmans, Judith Deckers, and John Booving at Sensing Clues. And I apologize, I'm trying my best to pronounce everyone's names. And third place goes to Juan Carlos Lopez Enriquez at the National Commission for the Knowledge and Use of Biodiversity in Mexico. And the Creativity Prize is being awarded to Charlie Turner from UC Davis. And Charlie's Creativity Prize is based on some very interesting investigations he was doing into trying to determine good ways to incorporate the satellite imagery. So, TLDR, what worked for these top scoring competitors? Every single one of these teams used the megadetector, either directly or as a checkpoint to be used for pre-training an additional detector. Geographic and location information was used to limit the species set that could be seen per camera. Cross-location validation was important to make sure that you weren't overfitting to the training locations. And teams tended to use heavy data augmentation and a combination of over and under sampling to handle the large data imbalance. Ensembles of full image and bounding box classification models were used by almost all teams. And many teams used pre-processing such as Clahe to try to improve the quality of some of the low illumination nighttime images. And another interesting thing that came up in a few teams were methods to remove repeated false positives. So you go to a novel held out location and there's a rock that looks just enough like an animal that it ends up being detected over and over and over again. And these teams use different algorithms or methods to remove those false positives automatically on the test set before predicting their counts. We're really looking forward to hosting all of the top competitors on Friday at the FGVC workshop, and we're hoping to have a really awesome discussion across all of the teams. And we'd also like to acknowledge WCS for providing the data, Microsoft AI for Earth, Caltech, and Google for helping support the competition, Centaur Labs for providing all of the labels, the count labels on the test set, as well, and Kaggle for hosting the competition for the last 4 years. We'll see you Friday, and we hope to see you all next year.